This particular workshop, is focused on soul. And soul is a tricky question because it means different things to different religions, to different people with or without, a religion. In Open Floor, what we mean by soul is the part of yourself that is able to connect to something bigger than you, bigger than me and you, bigger than us, that enables us to connect to the source and to, in a way, let that energy come through us and become this unique journey that is us or our life. And in my own journey, I've always had a combination of a quest for soul, a love of dance, and something quite a pretty rational mind. I was trained in academia. I taught history, so I have a pretty broad range of experience. And what I love about this workshop is that in a way it brings all of that together. So there's, how do you let your mind move so that you understand how to create space for soul? How do you dive into a ritual so that there's an echo that your soul can join? And simply, how do you let the dance take you to a place where something else is dancing you? A different quality of you comes through in the dance. And I made this little thing. It's in French, but it doesn't matter. It's the drawing I'm interested in. You see that it looks like a DNA spiral. Yeah. And for me, I would call it's the DNA of a spiritual path. And it has the blue that comes down, which I call the path of grace. And when you dance, in a way, you prepare your body or your being for the possibility that grace will suddenly come through you. And anyone who's been dancing, doing conscious dance for long enough knows those moments. Right. It's one of the things that brings us to the dance floor, where suddenly you've sweated through all of your stuff, and there's a moment when you feel blessed. You feel one with the moment. You feel you're in the right place, in the right moment, and you're not thinking anymore. You're just being. So that's one way. And the other bit, the red one, is what I call the work of consciousness, which is how we prepare ourselves to be more open to grace. How we develop a greater consciousness of who we are, of the defenses that we've built to survive, of the skills that we've developed to survive, and both of those can be an obstacle to grace, paradoxically, or can help us get to that place. And for me, it is like the DNA spiral, double spiral, because there's communication between both all the time. And that's what I love about Open Floor. It doesn't tell you, forget the red thread. Right. The only thing that counts is grace. Cut your head off. It's just like, there were actual practices where you were called to, metaphorically cut your head off. Douglas Harding his whole practice was that. It's a way. You're just trying to get to grace by, cutting off everything else. In my experience, that only works to a certain extent and for a very small moment. Yeah. And then other people will be saying, grace is nonsense. the only thing that counts is the work you do on yourself. And in my own path and my own journey, my experience is that what works is the combination of things. And especially, I think any true spiritual journey has both components.
Right.
There's a French spiritual teacher who died a while ago, but one of his books is called Effort and Grace. You know, it's another way to say it. Like, there's both, there's doing my part. Like, I show up on the dance floor, I let myself explore things, I allow myself to feel myself. Because when I say becoming aware, it doesn't mean you're going to use your head and your thoughts all the time, because that's only aware of one part. Consciousness is something different. It lies in being able to feel my whole body, being able to connect to my emotions, and in being able to notice my thoughts and let them find their dance.
Right.
So it's it's a very rich exploration.
Yeah, that's what I love also. It's always an emphasis of also in open floor on the connection to the ground and connection to the top, right? And it doesn't exist only on one side, or it's becoming fake when we go to only one side.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would say it's fake. It's limited.
Or limited, right?
Limited. It's like you have a continuum of possibility, and you're like, oh, this one is the good one. I'm going to try to get away from this and only be here. But actually, this means you're missing out on a whole part of your human experience. And because of the way the human psyche is built, we have to believe in a certain number of things, because that's how we build our identity, and that's how we come into existence in the world as a me. You know, I'm Lucie, and for example, I don't like it when things are superficial. I'm a deep person, you know, or you know, I'm Lucie and I'm an honest person. I don't lie. You know, I'm Lucie and I know that it's bad to be rich and to not care about the rest of the world. You know, so all of those things are true for me to a certain extent. But in order to believe them, I have to hide in the shadow its opposite, because that's the only way you can believe one thing. And part of the work that we're going to do this weekend is to go and look for what's in the shadow, bring it back into consciousness, into our bodies, into our dance. And as these two opposites meet, as the paradox becomes present, it will naturally bring us to the place of dissolving, of the structure of the ego. And of course it's temporary. Don't worry, you'll get some of it back before you go home. But in that moment of temporary dissolving, a space opens, you know, through which pure consciousness can flow through us, soul can flow through us, spirit can flow through us. And these are moments that you will never forget. And they will gradually give you a different ground of being, which means that you're not going to lose your personality. You're not going to become someone who's completely different of who you are today, but hopefully you'll have more space for your soul, and there'll be more fluidity in your personality, in your relationship with others.
Yeah. And we always can come back to those moments, right?
You can come back to those moments through your mind, but that actually doesn't bring the same quality. but you can recognize them. When that kind of quality comes to you in the dance, you go, oh yeah, I know you, I'm going to open to you. And also, in my experience, there's something of those deep experiences that keep working themselves through us,
Right.
even in an unconscious way, and really help us grow.
Yeah, great.